Hey guys, this is Al. You may have seen my short video on this 2002 Bentley Arnage T behind me on the trailer. So yesterday I posted a quick video, me walking up to the car. Don't really have that much information about it. I saw it at auction, at the local dealer auction, and I have a friend of mine that has a dealer license, so she lets me bid on some of the cars. And I thought it was going to go cheap. I actually saw it on sale last week and it didn't sell, but the bid wasn't high, and then it came up again this week. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to see if I can buy it. It appeared to be in pretty decent shape. It had about 58,000 miles. But as you could see in the video yesterday, there was a couple of gallon bottles of water sitting in the back seat. So I'm guessing it had an overheating issue. It wasn't running. I did bring my jump boxes with me yesterday, and I tried to get the car started and it would just click. So that could really either mean two things. It could either mean that my jump boxes aren't strong enough to get the car cranking, which I don't think is the case, because I've had these things fire up my 7.3 diesel. The other thing, of course, is that the engine could be locked up, but I'm not that disappointed because I'm not in it for a lot of money. You know, as I mentioned yesterday, I bought it for about the same price as a used 10-year-old Camry. It's incredible the depreciation that these cars go through. In 2002, I think that car was worth around $239,000, $240,000, something like that I was reading. For that kind of money, you could have bought a house, a detached house in Dallas on Frankfurt and Tollway, which is just North Dallas. That house today would probably be worth about $1 million. So it gives you some perspective as to how much these cars were. In any case, the exterior looks like it's in pretty good shape. It's got a pile of dust on it, so I really can't tell how good a shape it's in until I get it washed down. The interior is in reasonable shape. There's only real cracking on the wood on the passenger side, the driver's side door cap right here. But apart from that, it's a pretty nice car. It's black with grey interior, and it has, apart from the engine being a problem, it has everything that my other car doesn't have, my silver 2003. It came with 2 sets of keys. They were in the security desk, which I'm so glad that they put them there, because people do like to pinch those. So it came with 2 sets of keys. The trunk floors are all intact. All the pieces, like the spare wheel and everything else, are in there. It had, no electricals being tampered with by the looks of it. No bits missing from the interior by the looks of it. And that stuff is important, because that's really what's held me up on my silver car and getting it moving. It's just those tiny little pieces that I need to figure out what the heck's wrong, what the heck they are, because they're missing, so that I can replace them. And whenever I talk to somebody at Dismantle, I ask them, hey, can you just send me a picture of what's behind the back seat so I can tell you what I'm missing? I can point out. They just won't do it. So really, we could go one of two ways. I could either pull the engine out of my old one, pull the engine out of this one, stick that engine into this car, and then I have a good car, and it also has a clean title. Obviously that takes a little bit more work. Or the flip side of that is I just take off the little bits and pieces of the other car and just get it going. The other car's already registered in my name, pay taxes on it, so it's pretty much ready to go, apart from these little minor pieces. I'm going to go back to the shop right now. I'm going to unload it. I'm going to see if I can give it a wash down. I'll take the batteries out, put them on my charger, get them fully charged, and then see if I can get the engine spinned over. If I can get the engine spinned over, great. If it doesn't, that's okay as well, and then we'll figure out what to do next with it. So that's where I am.
So while I wait for the kid to unload it, I did a couple of things. I did check the coolant level, and it was pretty low. Right now it's full, overfull, but it was completely low. There was oil in the engine. The dipstick was showing just above minimum. It didn't look terrible. Didn't see any mayonnaise, but that's not to say that there's any problems, but I didn't see any mayonnaise in the oil cap. So that's all good. Take a step back, the car is actually pretty straight. You know, there's a couple of dings, you know, here and there that you'd kind of expect here, and then here as well. And some scratches you'd expect from an old car that's lived in a garage all its life. This piece of wood has got some cracks in it, but the rest of the wood is actually in pretty good shape. So you can see on the other side it's not that bad. The interior is not terrible. A little bit of wear on the seat bolster. Not, you know, a little bit of discoloration here, which can be fixed if I choose to fix it. The rear looks in pretty good shape. There's a bunch of carpet that's been lifted up and thrown over a bunch of bottles, so I guess they were trying to hide the empty bottles of water, which is kind of a lame auction trick, should we say. Both batteries were roasted, so I've put 2 new batteries on there. I haven't connected them up yet, but I've put them on. I'm going to see if this car will start. You know, I'm not hopeful. You know, it could be locked up, but it could be that the batteries were dead. I did test the voltages on the batteries, and they were under 5 volts on both of them. So it's a shame because they look like pretty new batteries. These cars are like SUVs. You should be able to open the door without clearing the pillars. So it's the other side. I guess this is a fan shroud. Should have been up there, I guess. I'm not sure what that is. There's one of the keys. I got the other one in the truck. Again, some discoloration here. Not the end of the world. I can dye that. Sem makes a product called Color Coat. You can either buy it in a spray can, or you can buy it as a water-based paint and then just, you know, spray it on with a detail sprayer. A little bit more scratching over here, needs fixing. I like the black. I'm not a huge fan of black as a color. I own a lot of cars that are black, and they're always dirty, but they look good when they're clean. Maybe this is pushed in a little bit. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, it kind of feels like it might have been pushed in a little bit, this rod over here. So, not the end of the world. Composite's filling up. So on my car, there's a few problems with it, like my silver one. For a start, these grill pieces are missing, the ones that are underneath the vent. My car only came with a valet key when I bought it, and I guess they were trying to get in the trunk of the car, and I don't know why they didn't basically power up the battery at the starter motor, but they decided instead to cut the trunk floor and make a big hole. So that's all ruined, and that's really held me up because I wanted to be able to fix it, but I couldn't figure out a good solution to do that. Obviously, it's missing the spare wheel, and then I'm also having like the airbag on the side deployed over here. I bought a replacement for the side curtain airbag, and then I had the seat belt pre-tensioner rebuilt, but there were a bunch of pieces missing underneath the back seat where the power seats are that I couldn't figure out what was missing. And every time I asked somebody who was dismantling one of these to show me what's underneath the back seat so I can tell them what I wanted to buy, they just wouldn't answer. So it kind of held me up. Apart from that, I mean, the other one runs like a train, so it's got black interior, which I prefer. Oh, and the other thing that's going on with my one is that the driver's door handle doesn't work on the outside, so you can't open the door from the outside. You can open it from the inside. and it's missing a radio. But you know, I guess I could fix this car even with the engine locked up, if I would just swap the engines over, right? Then, you know, I could fix it. Or alternatively, you know, I could fix the silver one by just transferring whatever parts I needed to the silver one. You know, it's just a matter of deciding which way I want to go. I do want a parts car at the end of it, because even though both cars are actually too good to part, but I need to somehow recoup some money, because I'm just spending like an obscene amount of money, and I really dislike selling cars, to be honest with you. Like, it's usually a lot of hassle, especially when you're dealing with cars of this age and this type of car. For every one serious buyer you end up dealing with 100 buyers that aren't serious, that, you know, your typical Craigslist, Facebook Marketplace type, that will just throw in a ridiculously lowball offer, and they guaranteed not to even have the money to honor what they're offering. So so for me, parts make more sense, because if somebody needs a part, they need a part, and they usually pay for it before you go out and pull it, and then you pull it and you ship it, and that's it. You know, you're done. So yeah, I'd like to make a parts car out of one of them, because I need to keep feeding the hobby. But that's where I am. Let's see if I can turn the engine over and see what it does. May set the alarm off because the battery is disconnected. Let's see. We are strapped in, so I don't expect this car to go anywhere. Alright, let's see. Turn it off. Hello. Okay, that's positive. So I guess the engine isn't locked up. That's good news. Ah, interesting. It says it has a little bit of gas, but maybe I should put some gas in it and see what it does. So it only starts for a second and then it dies. That doesn't sound like the immobilizer. I mean, it may be the immobilizer, but it doesn't sound like the immobilizer. They did lift the carpet up, so that's where the immobilizer lives. I don't have my Omnitech with me right now, but I'll put a little bit of gas in it and see what it does. Now I've got the Arnage unloaded. Yeah, so we were able to get it to start for a couple of seconds, and then it wouldn't start. So I had to use my trusty Cadillac, as you can see in the back there, to drag it off the trailer. So now that it's inside, we can take a good look and see what's going on. So I'm seeing coolant here. So obviously the car had either overheated or it's leaking coolant. The odd thing is I don't see it from around the reservoir top, so it may have split on the welds of the coolant reservoir cap or tank, sorry, and that might be the problem. I don't know, but in any case, that was one weird thing that we saw. One of these hoses, this guy over here, is loose. That goes to that blue line. Can you see the little blue tracer there? So I don't know what the deal is. It's not a fuel line. The car itself is in pretty good shape, right? It's not bad at all. Tires are a little bit old. It's got these 19-inch wheels. Initially I thought the Arnage T had 19-inch wheels and the rest of them had 18-inch, but this one has 19-inch wheels as well. So I don't know whether those are off a late version or something like that, but they're they're definitely not the same as what's on my Arnage, which is over here, and I excuse all the crap that's around it, but it hasn't moved around for a while. Now here's something really interesting that I just found out right now. So as I was about to leave, I got into my truck, and then I remembered that I had a second key, and then I wondered if the reason it has two keys, or when it got the new key, because the new key itself is a very new key, like it's in great shape. So I wondered, I thought, you know what, maybe the new key's programmed and the old key isn't, because when you do code a key in, you've got to program all the keys at the same time. So let's see if we can get it started. So it looks like the key is starting the car, this key, but it is running horribly. It's definitely missing, it's backfiring, so there's problems with it, but it is running with that key. So that's great news, because it means that I can pull this thing in and out of the shop to begin with, and secondly is I can run codes against it and see what it's doing, because now I know it's running by itself. So engine turns over, engine starts, the car runs, got 58,000 miles on it. Overall it's in pretty good shape, but it's got obviously some kind of running issue. It doesn't like to stay on, and it's probably firing on 5 cylinders. But there you go. So we learn new things as we go along. Depending on what's wrong with it, still thinking it's probably a blown head gasket, but we'll figure out what's wrong with it. Once we figure it out, then we'll decide whether this is a parts car or whether this is the parts car. Whoa, it smells. That car smells really bad. So this one I've had all apart because I've had to try to figure out what all this missing wiring around the electric seat motors is all about, and so that's why I'm stalled. And then obviously the other problem is I've got a great big gaping hole where the trunk floor is supposed to be, and that drives me insane. Totally drives me insane. But that's basically where I am. That's me today. Got to turn back the trailer, run it back to U-Haul. But I'll try to bring the Armitech over here up to the shop at some point during the week or this weekend, and scan the codes and get an idea of what's going on. But for now, it's running. I'm not sure exactly what's wrong with it, but we'll figure it out. Thank you very much. Take care. Bye.